sponsored this program, MTN, and also the guys who have given me this opportunity, or JA Eswatini. So this program is about entrepreneurship skills digital hub, and this episode will be mainly focusing on data analysis, which is the episode which we are right now today. And before I go in further or start, I'm saying welcome youth, welcome wherever you are. Please join us. Please be with us today. And I think by the end of the program, you would gain a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills, which you can use in your career, which you would actually want to pursue. But for today specifically, we'll be focusing on data analysis for this episode. And ngiyabonga the people we have been here through, guys who taught us about digital marketing, the guys who taught about okay. I would also want to highlight a lot of some things which I'll be actually interested or to talk about, or also highlight mostly. We need the youth here, and this is mostly dedicated to the youth between the age of 18 to 35, and also those guys who might be interested into this program and how we can share skills, how we can share our knowledge in this space of data analysis. Okay, my name is Munyaradzi Chigunyeni, and I'm a professional data scientist, and also into the issues of machine learning and artificial intelligence. And also to highlight some issues there, I am also into what you call AI, artificial intelligence, which has been making a lot of noise these days from most of you, like, oh, what's AI, what's going on, and everything. And to begin with, I would also want to know that I'm a co-founder of DatLab Eswatini. DatLab Eswatini, which is our company which does into issues of consulting in terms of data analysis and also software development. As a person, I'm into fintech and youth sector issues around that issue. Okay. Proceeding on further, our program structure today is based on, I'll say, 4 things which I'll actually highlight mostly. Is the issue, we're going to start with the issue of definition of data. What is data? And also get into issues of what is information. Then from there, we'll proceed into issues of what is big data. There we talk about our careers and also issues of entrepreneurship and also skills which we need to know to get into this field, and also the opportunities which are there for the youth, and also people who have been also in this industry for quite some time, and all people who are also willing to get into data analysis. Ngiyabonga ukuthi you are there, you are alive, you are joining us here as JA and MTN to actually have this program in front of you and bring these things and bring these skills to youth, and how best we can actually empower them. Siyabonga lokho. Manje mangichubeke. The next thing I will talk about is what is data. And I think most of us have been into a space or situation where we buy data from MTN, we buy data from Swazi Mobile, we're saying, I'm using data, my data is finished. And I'd want to talk about what is this data thing, which we are all making noise about. Okay, from an IT's perspective, data, we call them raw facts. We call them what? Raw facts. They are unprocessed facts. From data, we don't have sense out of it. From the beginning there, we don't have sense out of it. So the moment we start diagnosing, or the moment we start processing data into something, we get what we call information. That's why when utenga i-data awuthengi information. MTN itokuthengisela i-data akuthengisela information. The moment uthi usende i-message kunemuntu uthi ukuphi, you find that your data start depleting or you start reducing. That means you are now processing that data into what? Into information. And at this point now, when you have information, it now makes sense. There is a meaning there. Someone can say, okay, this person wants to know where I am. So in this field of data analysis, we need to analyze this data. We need to analyze these things which doesn't make sense and put them into so that they can make information. So in this sense now, what are we saying? You as a young profession, as someone wants to engage into this space, what skills do you need now? What skills do you need to make sense out of this data? As a youth, as someone who is sitting out there, what do you need? So at this point, I would actually want to thank Jay and MTN for making this program available so that we can see, okay, these are the opportunities which we have in the issues of data. Okay. So as a youth, they're sitting there and say, okay, manje, ngicala kuphi? What do I do? Let me explain some of the few issues to you. Lapa, we need to demystify or explain what is this data and what are the type of data which we have in this field, isn't it? From what I'm sharing right now with you on your screen, you can just see that there is we are setting something called data types. Okay, lapa kune different types of data which we actually have. There's what you call structured data. There's what you call semi-structured data. There's what you call unstructured data. Okay, in here, on structured data, I think most of us we have been involved in it in terms of how tables. Maybe you've found someone who send you a table or an Excel file or something to do with that. That's what you call an structured data. It has tables and rows. That's what you call structured data. Then, Skubek, kone team for like semi-structured data. I think those guys by that the youth who are actually working at this moment. Someone who talks and something to do with a document or a text file with a lot of things which you're actually not understanding. What is this? That's it, what you call semi-structured data. Then the last part which I will talk about the data types is issues to do with unstructured data. Unstructured data is actually basically what I am doing right now. We are having a recording, we are having a recording which is video and audio at the same time. So audio data, our text data, our messages which we send for our guys on YouTube and on Facebook, Instagram, all those kind of platforms. The data which are generating there, we call it what? Unstructured data. And this data is very, very essential, and recently in the field of IT or in the field of data science, it has become more dominant more than of our traditional data of our tables and everything. Then from the diagram which you're seeing right now, there is it's divided into structured data and unstructured data. Just to make a clarification for you, so that you can get to understand. If someone sends you an email, someone sends you a picture, if someone sends me an audio, and someone sends you a GFI, wherever you're sitting in the house there, in this space, we call it unstructured data, which is very, 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 very important to analyze it and come up with a lot of insights from that data and everything. Then another part which we'll be actually talking about, which is also very, very important, especially in our day-to-day running of the business. This I'll relate it to our youth so that they also get to know this kind of data structure, which what we call structured data. Either it's include our tables, it has something to do with our numbers, dates, strings, names, surname, like maybe location. We actually need to also know those kind of things. And I would actually love to share with the youth this other aspect, which is very, very important for the youth. As we get into this space of data analysis and analyzing data, I would want you to be very, very aware that I would say data is the new fuel, is the new oil. We cannot go anywhere. Companies cannot go anywhere without data. Companies' data, they collect data each and every day. For example, MTN, you send someone 50 rand wherever he or she is. That's a transaction. You have created data. You received a call. You have created data. You send someone a text. You have created data, and this whole data need to be analyzed. That's where how this program, which MTN and Junior Achievement Eswatini set up. Okay, let's indulge into this. Let's get to know what do we call data analysis. So as fiki lapho kuti sifike ka data analysis, singakwati kuti ini, what is data bokuqala. Sifuna siwathi ukuthi ini lo kulumako. What is data? So lapho bongichalile ngithi define what is data. I said these are raw facts. There's no meaning into them. If, for example, mangibuya lapha nga live ngihlale lapha and I just look at the camera and everything, you'll be like, kuyini lokho? Yes, why? Because at that point I'm representing data. I'm not defined. The moment we start defining me, we get information, isn't it? So in this spectrum or this space, I would want for the youth to understand that the issues which we'll be talking about in terms of data analysis, you have to understand these different types of data, whether it's structured, whether it's semi-structured, whether it's also unstructured data. We also need to understand those space and how actually it can help us in terms of our analysis as youth, as people who want to get into this field. What is it about? What makes you get excited about it? And the next thing I would want to talk about, it will be a bit technical, but I'll try to simplify it so that the youth can actually get to understand what we are talking about, why I'm starting with this issue of talking about defining data, then go into what you call data analysis or data or getting insights from the data. Okay, the next slide which I have here, I'm going to slide talking about the 5 V's, or what we call the big data. What is big data, isn't it? I think some of you have gone on internet, maybe ulapho ka Facebook, ulapho ka Instagram, kunemuntu advertise uthi I know bo big data in join like class iqala bo next month don ancho. But what is this guy advertising? What is he talking about, isn't it? I would want also to actually demystify that and understand that. There's what you call big data. Big data we defined into what you call 5 V's. These 5 V's are namely volume. Volume, it talks about the amount of data which we're actually creating, which our institution, for example, MTN. Right now, in a minute, there are people who are making calls. There are people who are sending money out there. Though that is data. In a second, there are a lot of data which is being created through transactions, through us as consumers, through us as our customers of MTN. As we send money to someone, as we post something on Facebook, as we Google something, we are creating data. And in terms of volume, that's large amount of data which you're actually creating. So that is the first view. It talks about the amount of data which you're actually creating, the records which you're actually creating. And The other V, which we'll actually go on to into talk about, is the value. Data is value. It's like lomuntu which you actually love or whatever. You actually need to value that person, isn't it? And the amount of data which you're creating, how much are you valuing that data? How much is value created in that event or in that transaction which is actually made? If someone make a transaction of maybe, let's say, 3,000 emalangeni, 5,000 emalangeni, that's the value which actually this transaction creates, and it creates a data type, isn't it? Then we move on to another V, which is very, very important to understand this thing called data analysis. This is what we call variety. Yes. So you see now, it's depending on the organizations which you're actually having, and the amount of data and the different types of data types which actually these guys create. For example, there's what you call structured data, which I've actually highlighted. There's what you call structured data, our tables, rows, and columns. There is the videos which we create, which you post on Facebook, on Instagram, and different types of platforms on social media, which actually create those things. Audios, GIFs, which you send to our loved ones and everything. And that is very, 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 very important in terms of variety. So to understand this, the organization or these institutes where we are actually aligned to, what kind of data they're creating? Eswatini water services. What kind of data are they creating? Isn't it? What kind of data are they creating? Are they creating structured? Are they creating videos? Are they creating semi-structured? What kind of transaction are they running there? So, lo muntu wena ufuna ungena in this field like a data analysis. Logo lonkulumako manje, you need to understand it. Okay, which types of data, which organization can create, isn't it? Then, what kind of skill do you need to analyze such kind of data? Yabona lapho. That's the whole thing which I'm actually trying to push you to understand. Ama data types akona. How many are they? What's there out there? And what are you actually doing out there? Yabona lapho. Then kubeke kune issue yaka what you call veracity. Veracity, it is to talk about the trustworthiness and the origin of that data, the authenticity of the data. That's why sometimes sibona lapho kuna ama notice apuma ati this video or this lomuntu uposa like this is not authentic. It's not from our source. Maybe a company. It's no. Sibona lapha ka social media kuna muntu upose ukuthi I company in jan yabona logo. Then the company pumate no. That is not us. That's we need the authenticity of that data, which we're actually talking about. So that's that aspect, other V, which is the fourth V. And the last V is the veracity of that data. Or we talk about how is it being created? Is it in real time? Yabona manje ka MTN hayi nkosi yami. In a minute there are a lot of transactions. A lot of transactions in a minute. Hamba lapho ka Standard Bank, hamba lapho ka Eswatini Bank, hamba lapho ka Building Society. In a second there are transactions happening. So we are saying how in real time how much amount of data are we creating. So when I'm out getting into this field, you have to understand these whole things which I'm talking about. What how? Oh manje data it's raw facts. It's raw facts. Okay. I'm a raw facts lava. Okay. What are the types of these raw facts? Oh, they can be either videos. Oh, they can be either audios. They can be either in sort of tables, rows and columns. Okay. They can be either GIF, whatever, isn't it? Then after this, I want us as youth to understand how the world is growing into this field, and us to understand what actually is there, and so that when we are getting to this field, angifuni ungene in this field uba blindfolded. Yabona lo akusiko right. Ngifuna ukuthi ungene into this field understand ukuthi kuna data. This is what we call data, and these are the issues surrounding these issues of data. Then kuna Another slide which I want to talk about is the data growth. There's a slide which is data growth. And angifuna ukuhambela manga the way data is grown from the past years, around 10 to 15 years, it's tremendous. It's very, very big. And now opportunity for the youth. The data is growing. Companies are having a lot of data which they are creating through their various activities which they are having in their so-called companies, isn't it? And these guys, they're having a lot of data with them. How do you analyze it? How do you make sense out of it? How do you make information out of this data? That's where you and me get into there. Are you getting there in terms of a career? Are you getting there in terms of a company, as a consulting company, or maybe your own company? And in this topic, I'll actually talk about it towards the end of this session. Uthi manje, how do you make money out of it? Yabona lapho. We need to understand that. How do we make money out of this? After understanding all these things which I've said, data njani, data kuna ama videos, kuna ama audios. Okay, that's fine, that's good. Now you understand that, isn't it? Now you've acquired the skill. How do you make sense out of it? How do you make money out of it, isn't it? So ngifuna ngitoqhubeka lapho. I think egcineni lapho ngitochazela utobona ukuthi, oh, okay, this is how these things are working, this is how things are working, isn't it? So from around 2008 up to Manj, up to around 2000 and let's say 2013 to 2023 up to 2024, the growth of data is up to around petabytes. It's a crazy amount of data which is being created. And it's our time as youth, it's our time as youth to get into this space, to get into this whole things of data analysis, data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and tap into this and make money. And sitokona ukuthi abazali bethu bajabule ukuthi sibaphasa kahle with lo msebenzi bowuthola waka data analysis. Maybe uvule icompany yaka data analysis, utwenza all this consulting and everything. So with this space which I'm actually talking about, I would want actually to go a bit further. There's a slide ibhaliwe what is data analysis. Anjo ngiqale ngithi what is data. Anjo qale lapho define what is data. Ngiqhubeke ngithi there are types of data types. Ngiqhubeke after that there's how we define big data in 5 V's: veracity, volume, value, and all those V's. Then manje how yini lokho lokukhulumako lokuthi i-data analysis, yabona lokho. So the issues of data analysis, we need to inspect, yabona lapho. After we inspect, okay, what do we have? After that, we clean the data, yabona lapho. What if you go deep into our technical language, what is data pre-processing? Lapho nje, where you need to clean the data. Maybe kuna missing values, kuna umuntu ungabhale i-age yakhe, kuna umuntu ungabhale uthi uvelaphi nje, uyabona lokho. Usayinile iformula ba kabhang. Ibhangi uthi ayiphela wena boba bethulani ungabhali lo sibongo lapha, uyabona lapho. Yes, that's missing data, and you need to clean it as a data analyst. Uthi hayi boba bethulani uhlala kuphi, ungafaki i-location lapha uthi uvelaphi lo babethulani, yabona lokho. So that is, we are cleaning that missing data. Then from there we transform it, yabona lapho. After we transform it, we do what we call modeling. And some of you bacabanga ukuthi ayibo sienda bo Miss Eswatini. No, akusiko loyo. Akusiko bo Miss Eswatini lokho. I-modeling la lesikhuluma manje uthi there are steps which you need to now analyze this data. boma statistics, boma mathematics, boma ndondon. Ngitokhuluma lawo, I think in the next slide lapho mangikhuluma lo issue lo ba data analysis processes. Yabona lapho. Then after you do this, you need to understand what are your deliverables. Yabona lapho. So these companies like a MTN, like a FNB, like whatever, when you go there, mawuthola umsebenzi bafuna ukuthi bazokutshela ukuthi thine lapha babe we need 1 2 3 ama deliveries ebet anjani bakhuluma neyindzaba la bathi ama KPIs. Yabona lapho ama key performance indicators. Wena as a data analyst or as a data scientist, you need to understand what are your deliverables. What do you need to deliver at the end of the day? Mawuthola umsebenzi. Yabona lapho. Exactly. Then from there you need to communicate what you've got from your analysis and give what you call data-driven decisions. Yabona lapho. What our decisions as a bank, our decisions as a company, they must be as a result of what? As a result of the data which you as youth out there is analyzed. So more analyzer lapha you need to be very, very careful and you need to be very, very smart. How do you actually deliver this? Yabona lo. People need to be actually bakutsembe kuthi how yabona bo Thulani uyaspana lo. Yabona lo uyaspana Thulani. Uyasebenza. Yabona lapho. So what at the end of the day I need you to know okay, what skills do you have and what type of data analysis which you can actually do. There's what you call explanatory data analysis, where we need to mine the data. Or maybe we're talking about this to do with dimension reduction or like this kind. I think naile terminology but we are miner data. Manje wena labo uhlala endlini uthi uyamangala uthi hawu lo baba manje siya miner data. Siya miner kanjani? Yabona lapho. Ngitokhuluma nalenze ba I think bogcinene ukuthi what kind of skills do you need to get these things, isn't it? Yabona. Siqhubeke khona what you call predictive analysis. Yabona lapho. Where you need to now predict, to forecast the future. Yabona. Ama companies bayakufuna lokho. But ba-predict a future ukuthi okay batoyenza njani ama budget abo ntoni all like that kind of stuff. So wena nje as a data analyst utongena ngalapho utobatshela nje uthi how ngipredict ngibona ukuthi next month sitotho kanjani in next year, in next 2024 2025 lokho. Then you do what you call text analysis. It's you now. Yabona lapho ka social media siposta ama videos, siposta ama comments. We need to understand what's there in these comments. Yabona lapho. What's common in these comments? Yabona lapho. Yes, kuna abantu baenda boma geospatial analysis. Yabona. Bathu bona geospatial analysis baenda location boma roads don. Yabona lokho. Kuna descriptive analysis. Yabona lokho. Then lapho ama-description sikhuluma lendzaba yama data visualization, ama pie chart, ama bar chart, ama ntontoni, yabona lokho. Exactly. That's you. So meaning it's as a youth who is sitting out there, I need you to have this skill. And right now, ekugcineni utobona uthi how is Eswatini ethini with these skills. Yabona lapho mangichubeka. Kune slide lana ithi data analysis process anjo. How do you now you understand what is data analysis? How does the process goes? Yabona now, isn't it? Bokuqala mawufika lapho ka FNB ka MTN bazokutshela wena ukuthi how you need to understand the problem. You need to understand the objective. You need to understand your deliverables. What are you supposed to deliver? Yabona lapho. Exactly. Yabona mawuthola la ile skill yaka data analysis uthola umsebenzi lapho wakho angathi kuphi nje. But manje ngiyabekisa ngithi uthola umsebenzi ka FNB, uthola umsebenzi ka MTN. Baso you need to understand these kind of deliverables. Uqhubeke. That's the first thing, the first step you understand. What are your deliverables? What is the objective of you? The next thing, you gather that data, you put together that data, which you actually need to analyze. Yabona lapho. Nje manje uyabona ukuthi data manganalyze, is it both structured, is it both semi structured, is it both unstructured? Yabona lapho. Then after that you need to clean it. Yabona lapho clean nje. Yabona clean. Yabona kune team for which is missing, kune team for someone ungagcwalisa iformula ke kahle. Yabona lo. Exactly. That's what we're talking about. Siqhubeke lapho kuna what you call building a model. Yabona lapho. Now wena mawuthola ile skill yaka data analysis. Baku impart nge-skill yaka how do you do, what's a model? Boma statistics, boma ndoni yabona lokho. Develop those kind of skills. Model here. What you call modeling of your data. Uqhubeke. The next step, which is the fourth one. It is data visualization. How do you need to visualize this data now? Yabona. Now lapho wena ucreate ama dashboards yabo. Ucreate ama dashboards, ucreate ama charts, ama pie chart, ama bar graphs, ama heat maps, all those kind of stuff, so that when you're presenting this data to management, to board of directors, and they can actually, you can be in sync with them, you can be in line with them. Lenzaba local mark. Ayibona lo. Qhubeka. Kuna what you call data analysis and reporting, the fifth step. We now know, okay, what are we getting from this data? Yabona lapha as a youth, mawuthola la le skill yaka data analysis. What are we getting from these things? Yabona lapha. Then the last thing which we need to talk about is how do you manage this now? Yabona lapha. How do you now manage these things? How do you manage these things? How do you manage it? Who is supposed to see this? Kuna abantu baka HR utobaniketa dashboard yabo, abantu baka finance, abantu baka procurement, isn't it? All those people, they have to see their particular dashboards. Mawuthola la ile skill yaka data analysis. Yabona lapho. So mina ngithi as a youth out there, go and grab this skill. Ngiyakutshela. It's marketable, it's in demand. Utobona manje ngidokutshela ukuthi how is it in demand? How is Eswatini saying about this skill? How is the government of Eswatini saying about this skill? Yabona lapho. Exactly. Siqhubeke. Now, kuna inye slide iti data roles, isn't it? And our career demands in this report, isn't it? Kuna a different type of roles you as a data analyst can play. Kuna what you call boma data scientist, kuna boma data architects, kuna boma data developers, kuna boma data engineers, kuna boma data administrators, kuna boma machine learning engineers, kuna boma AI, all those things. And they might look big, but I'm here to tell you that it's not bigger than you. As long as omunye umuntu like me, we have done it, you can also do it as a youth sitting out there. Ngiyakutshela ukuthi ungavilaphi lapha endlini. Qhubeka with your objective, qhubeka with your ambition, qhubeka with your goal lapha endlini. Don't lose hope. Ngiyabonga ukuthi JA Eswatini na MTN bane this program where we can come here and educate the youth about these things. Yabona lapha. So us as JA and MTN City, don't lose hope in this. There is a space, there is an opportunity for you as a youth to become a data analyst, to become a data scientist, to become a data architect, a data engineer, a machine learning engineer, an AI engineer. And manje ngiyachaza ukuthi how do you get there? How do you get to this space? Yabona. Ngifuna ngiqhubeke ngikhulume le ndzaba lana la kangwana Eswatini. Kuna company itwa Eswatini Economic Policy Analysis and Research Center. Ayi ngiyabatsanza labamfu laba. Yabona bayenda report with bo Ministry of Labor. But okay, lana la kangwana aphi ama skills aka ICT aka STEM which are in demand. Yabona. Angifuna ukuthembisa amanga, ngifuna ukucela iqiniso ukuthi EJA na MTN with all these other organizations babone ukuthi how we need to equip you, we need to inform you through these platforms where sisharisha lana ka Facebook in our different platforms with how kunani lapha nayi organization yaka Eswatini Economic Policy Analysis and Research in collaboration with the Ministry of Labor. Baenda report I think around 2021. But okay, what they call a national skills audit. Baphuma with this one. Mina ngithathe lokho. If you go and search about this report, utoyithola, utobona ukuthi ama skills akhona la kangwana which are in demand. Pinche. Yabona lapho. Then when as a youth, you take your time, udadishe lapho ufunze nje uthi hawu okay kuna ngalokho manje ngishayelisa islide lana ina team for like kuna isource yami ika Eswatini Economic Policy and Research Center lapho ngengitholile this whole list yabona lapha khona abamfu bakhuluma ne team for like computer assisted accounting boma developers mina I'm interested lapha with lensaba lathina namuhla yaka data analysis yaka data scientist yabona lapha I think around 3 there a bullet point number 3 it's a data scientist specialist business informatics and big data yabona nengikhuluma la big data lapho exactly and these skills ihulumende la kangwana they are in demand when they need people in the next 3 to 5 years to the skills so that when they go into the future into the 10 years 20 years we have people la kangwana bayakhona kuyenda team bayakhona ku-analyze data wena as a youth lapho bothulane bonomvuyo bonontoni anje ngithi pursue the career go and grab the career go and grab the skill go and grab this thing called data analysis utothola umsebenzi utothola icareer yakho utocala ibusiness yakho yokwenda i-data analysis these companies these big companies they need youth who have established their skills who have established their companies to consult to them abakhona ukuyenda all these things by themselves ngithi hamba lapho get this skill mau buka lapho utobona kuna boma cyber security ndondoni boma online business developers kuningi lapha nje database managers database specialists boma systems analysts yabona lo boma robotics ndondoni ngithi hamba uyobukela le report ubone ukuthi wena utothola nayi le skill mina ngithola lapho nje then as a youth ngicubeke kuna islide lapha kubhaliwe tools needed now we have now know these things what tools do you need as a youth what tools do you need to grab and to be in this space yaka data analysis yaka data scientist yaka data developer ndondoni isn't it mangicala you should have ability to create boma visualizations yabona lapha ama visualizations zethu uthomathola kanjani kuna Power BI kuna Tableau kuna Excel maning but lapha I only give at least 3 so that I'll be able to explain them and everything yabona lapha Power BI is another skill which you need to get as a youth I'll tell you how to get these things yabona lapha then kuna programming anje ngiyathi abamfu lapho esikolweni nebi bomvasi lapho but hey programming hey kulikhoni hey programming hey kuyaphetha ndontoni but ngifuna ukutshela ngithi as a youth out there if you have a goal if you have set your objective you must pursue you must stay focused and achieve that objective there's nothing which a man on earth has done which is difficult for you ngeke kude nje so lapho ngifuna ukuthola skill yaka Python programming yaka R programming yaka Stata maningi ama programming languages but lana nje ngi specify a team for laga data analysis laga Python programming laga R laga Stata then the next thing yabona lesikhuluma lemanzaba about data ndondoni the next thing we should talk about okay these are the databases where is this data like ihlala kuphi data ihlala kune team for which is called database that's where the data stays so lapho ufuna ulene language yaka SQL yaka MySQL yaka Postgres undondon Microsoft Server all those things ngicela ukufunza nje and how do you get the skill now yabona nje manje wena uyacomplaina okay uyacomplaina uthi how yabona manje mina hayi ngide imali yokwenda ngalokho kude imali yabona ngithi ngide imali yokwenda kamvasi okay ngicala kuna ama certifications lana yabona ama certifications domathola ama certifications ka Microsoft baya certify abantu uthola ka IBM IBM ka AWS ka Oracle kantontoni kuna kamvasi abantu bahamba kamvasi lapho nje bayenda ama statistics bayenda ama maths or in all those science things yabona lapho exactly maybe uthola diploma uthola degree yakho yabona la kutokusida ukuthi ube nayo le skill yaka data analysis. Then online kunetimvo saka online boma Udemy uhamba lapha ka Udemy uhamba lapha ka Coursera. Then at the end of the day kune I dashboard ubhaliwe ukuthi how at the end of the day these guys lapha nje bafuna ukuthi upresent I dashboard yabona lapho. Yes, where you summarize this data and put it into one. Nyalo I think uyabona I dashboard lapho nje a screenshot yaka dashboard ushuthi umunya HR artisan dashboard yabona lapho. At the end of the day the management, the people, the board abafuna ukuthi wena what imethi into no, they need something which you can communicate to them. At the end of the day you need to communicate what you are getting. You need to talk to these managers, to this board of directors. How do you do that? You create a dashboard like what you are seeing right now, manje. Yabona lapho. That's what you need to do at the end of the day. So man, I need as a youth, hamba lapho ka LinkedIn. Uboke unonakana ubone ukuthi kuna bani lapho. What are the skills they need? And ngiyakutshela kuthi uhambelana with the things which I'm saying manje. Hamba lapho kuna Eswatini ngibonele timfo ka Facebook lapho kuna ama jobs Eswatini share with London baya post that info. I think recently Eswatini Revenue Services ba post ukuthi bafuna bo senior analysts bo senior data analysts bafuna the same skills mangitshela ko manje. So ngithi wena hamba lapho as a youth, don't get tired there. Pursue your goal, pursue your career. And ngicela manje ngithi ngiyabonga yabona lapha ngiyabonga ukuthi ngathi uhlala kuphi uhlala kaMandla ngempisi uhlala lapha ka Pickspeak uhlala lapha ka Ngwenya uhlala lapha ka Mathamo angathi uhlala kuphi. Youth, as you are listening to this program ngithi thank you for listening, for your great patience. Kuna abamfu ba maybe bathi kuna ama questions lapha nje kuthi ayi manje ngitobuta kanjani kunani nganani ngithi how ngicela ubuthe ngikhona nje mina maybe ngithothola ama questions akho nje ukuthi how kunani nganani nje manje ngithola ama questions kunabo ubhala ukuthi how do you charge the services anje manje okay lapha in charging of the services ngithi there is one thing, there are two things which are actually be specified. Kuna bamfu baenda as a data analyst bomsebenzi yabona lapho kuna icompany ithi hayi for ngiyabekisa kuna MTN ukuthi how thina sifuna I-data analyst bazokutshela i-package ukuthi thina as a data analyst grade D grade E undondona anje lokho nje kutoba clear and on your negotiation skills mawuthola nayo le skill yabona. Then kune mawufika in terms of consulting yabona lapha in terms of how now do you charge as a company yabona lapha. Those are two different things. So it's in our main focus as JA and MTN Eswatini city utokhona kwenda this thing as an entrepreneur wahamba lapha ka Minister of Commerce register a company yabona lapho advertise ama services akho uthi wena ngiyakhona kwenda I-data analysis. How do you charge these people now yabona lapho. And lapha angifuna ukukambela manga mina I have been in those tables where I sit with abaparts anje le company sicoce ukuthi how nje mina ngitakhona kwenda ka 1 2 3 1 2 3 anje mina your job description what you want me to do here kuhamba kanjani mina ngiyacharge i-service yami ngithi this per hour, this per day, this per week depending on the size of that project yabona. Kuna abantu bathi i-project yethu i-1 week, project yethu i-1 month, i-3 months depending on that. Then kunemuntu lana ubhale uthi uyangibuza manje uthi how do we mine data yabo. Okay, mining of data ngifuna Just a simple example. Yabona masimina gold. Bafuna ama-trucks, bama-loading dontoni, boma caterpillar, isn't it? To get the ore and put it and refine it and become gold, isn't it? The same skills which you need. How do you mine data? You need some mathematical methods. You need some statistical methods to mine that data. Mawufunza ka Power BI, mawufunza ka R, mawufunza ka state lab. Bazokufundisa lokho nje. Oh, okay, this is how you mine the data. You use this method, you use these techniques, you use these statistical methods, you use this mathematical method to mine that data. And okay, ngiyabonga ukuthi maybe ngiyasida everyone out there nicely. Then kunemuntu ungibuze lana uthi what is the easiest tool to use? Yebo. Hey, this is very, very important question. Ngiyabonga lapha ukuthi ubuze loyal nombuzo. I'll say one thing to you. Mawufunza Power BI, mawufunza Stata, mawufunza Excel, mawufunza any skill mayisebenzisa ku analyze data. Ngicela ube expert ngalayo skill mayitholile nje. Yabona? Ube expert in that field. Ube expert in that tool which you are using. Let's say, for example, to answer your question, I'll vouch for Power BI. One, in terms of business-wise, it's cheaper. That's one thing for sure. Two, it's easy to use. Why? Iyafana nga Excel. Umuntu ulena Excel. Mau switch to Power BI kuyafana. There's not much of difference in those two things. You're just changing a bit. Then you are actually done with that. So, Mena, when you say you know Power BI, these big companies, these organizations, they need you to be knowing it for true, because they are working with business objectives, business goals. And when I'm figure lap ngiyati Power BI, ngiyati Excel, ngiyati Stata, they want you to be knowing it and really knowing it. So please, when you say you know Power BI, when you know Excel, know it for good. And hamba lapho ka udemi. Ude imali yokuthi mina angikhona ukubhadala school fees. Uhamba abule ka udemi. Bayathengisa course ya Power BI nga 250 emalangeni. Yabona? Yebo kungcono nje utholile iskill yakho. And once you impart yourself the skill, nobody can take it from you. Kude nje lo muntu uthi hayi na ile skill yakho ihami ngeke nje kude. Yabona lapho. So go grab that skill. It's yours, it belongs to you. And in this field, as I have shown you from the report, which this government has actually said, youth out there, these are the opportunities which are there in these terms of STEM, data analysis, kandondon. These are the skills which we have, and we need these skills. We need these skills from you, youth. Impart yourself with these skills. Go to school, ufunza, and then ngikushedile lapha ukuthi khona ama methods yokufunza. Uthola certification, uthamba kanvasi, utofunza online. And online nje kuna abantu which don't have skills, they can actually grab that skill and actually be. So ngithi ngiyabonga kakhulu with your time. Mau text for you to listen wherever you are in this country. Angathi ukuphi, but ngithi ngiyabonga us as JA and MTN, the organizers of this event. Siyababonga nje bathi bafune si-impart the youth with this kind of skills. Ngithi hamba lapho Tulane, hamba lapho Nomvuyo, hamba lapho Khwanele, hamba lapho uthola iskill yakho yaka data analysis. Hamba lapho uthi hayi mina ngidemali hamba lapho ufunza online. 250 only kuphela nje hayi wena Nomvuyo. Hamba lapho uthola skill yakho. Yeva? Exactly. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Siyabonga nathi ka JA, siyabonga nathi ka MTN. Siyabonga kakhulu.